Hi, everybody. It's Cindy Coggins with Cindy Coggins Realty Group and Michael Copeland with the Dean Hanson Farmers Agency. We are C Squared Insights. And today we're going to interview Steve Henderson with First Choice Inspections. And he's going to talk to us a little bit about what he does and why it's so important to have an inspector in your life. Steve, tell us, what does an inspector cover?
The inspection is going to cover pretty much everything throughout the house. We have some main categories. One of the categories would be structural, and that's basically going to be your foundation structure, your wall structures, your roof structure, pretty much the structural components of the house. And then we're going to do all of your electrical. The electrical is going to include the fixtures, the plugs, switches, all of the lighting throughout the house, the electrical panel, the wiring coming into the house from the utility company. Next would be your plumbing. And of course, we pretty well know what plumbing is going to be. It's all the fixtures, faucets, supply lines, drain lines. If the house happens to have a septic system, we do septic systems as well. After that, we're going to do what in the industry is known as the HVAC. That's basically your heating and cooling. So we're going to check all of the inside units, attic units, all the outside units, make sure that the house is heating and cooling properly. That's a big one here in Texas. There's nothing worse moving to a house and not be cooling properly in the summertime here. So. Then after that, we also do the roof inspection, of course, the attic, all your interior doors, windows, pretty much everything, from the foundation up to the, outside of the roof covering. We do sprinkler systems. We also offer termite inspections, like I said, septic inspections, swimming pools, pretty much everything there. So.
That's amazing. So you do, sorry, Cindy.
Well, I was just curious. So why is it so important to have an inspection?
Well, a lot of people ask that, especially on new construction. We get that question a lot more, but it's really important. As far as new construction goes, you're basically buying a home where a general contractor has sometimes upwards of 25 subcontractors that are coming out to build this home. And if you've ever tried to manage a lot of different self-employed people, then you understand that that's a real task. And so it's not so much that the builders are trying to get one over on you, if you will, but the problem is that, a lot of times no one's ever lived there. For example, I did a new construction inspection today, and they forgot to put the appliance cord on the garbage disposal. So without an inspection on day one, if they went in there to wash their dishes, they would have had a garbage disposal full of food and a clogged drain. So it's things like that that come up. I mean, we do get some serious issues. But a lot of times on new construction, especially, it's just things that have not been checked out, just getting everything, just right for that new home so that you don't have that kind of nightmare, on day one when you move into your new home. We've seen them where water heaters were just not turned on, not, in a working, condition. So, let's say you get done moving in, you go in to take your shower that night and you have no hot water. So
yeah, that would not be good.
Yeah. And then, as far as existing homes, things like that, it's just so important, especially in the kind of the time frame that we're in. We see a lot of remodels. We see a lot of homes that have been renovated and, really brought up to a nice standard. But a lot of times people just neglect to look everywhere when they're viewing those homes. And a lot of times we will go into a house that just looks marvelous. I mean, it's just, it's shining head to toe as far as the eye can see. And then we get in the attic and find it still from the 1960s. And, you know, those are sometimes, especially on these really high-end renovations, where sometimes the renovator rolls the dice and, you know, they just don't do anything in the attic. Maybe they don't update the insulation. Maybe they don't update, you know, the furnace, the water heaters, you know, framing. We see quite a few things like that,
Sure.
especially in these homes that have been freshly renovated.
Well, that sounds like there's a lot involved in this. You know, it sounds like you're going from curb to backyard to everything. So I'm going to just go out on a limb and say that's a pretty extensive amount of time. Yeah, how long have you been doing it, and how long does an average inspection take you?
This is our 14th year in business. We actually started out in the Abilene area and then moved here to the Metroplex, and we've really enjoyed, you know, working here in DFW area. But August is actually, this month is our anniversary for our 14th year. So
Congratulations.
we're really excited. Yeah, as far as the time frame, it really depends on the condition of the home. So it's kind of one of those things where if someone has kept their maintenance up, you know, then you know, it's a shorter time period to do the inspection. But then if you have some of those homes that really have a you know, a lot of issues, you know, we can spend that have lasted 8 hours. So, you know, it really depends on the condition of the house, of course, the size of the house, the amenities, whether or not it has a pool, whether or not it has a septic system, the size of the sprinkler system. You know, I've done homes that have had, you know, over 20 zones on the sprinkler system, and you know, so just the sprinkler system itself, you know, will take upwards of an hour to inspect. So it really just depends on the house. It's kind of a case by case basis.
Okay.
Wow. So once you get through performing the actual inspection, how long does it take for a client to get that inspection report back? And how do you structure your reports, and what formats do you provide clients those reports?
Sure. That's a great question. So, when we very first started doing inspections, that was kind of back in the day where you would have a clipboard and 5 pieces of paper and a bunch of check marks and, you know, writing. And things have changed quite a bit since then. Of course, the technology, cloud-based items, our devices, you know, the connected times really has helped quite a bit. So to get to the answer of your question, we actually do same day delivery of the report. So if we do the inspection, say at 9 a.m., you will receive that inspection the same day. We also have afternoon appointments. So if you had your inspection done at 3 p.m., you're going to receive that the same day. It's generally, you know, in the 6 to 7 o'clock range. It gives us time to have the inspectors get back. Well, we all like to proofread and kind of do a quality control and make sure that, you know, everything is laid out properly. But you can absolutely have it the same day. On occasion, we'll have a realtor that is really against the tight time frame.
Mm-hmm.
If we know that ahead of time, we can prepare some extra time and actually deliver the entire report on site. So,
Wow.
you know, if
That's
anyone needs
impressive.
that, we can expedite it in that manner.
I know some realtors that are going to really like to hear that when it comes down to crunch time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sure.
So as an insurance guy, there's a couple of things that I know have to take place when they're going through the home process to help us make sure that we're insuring it properly. And the one thing that I always have a concern with is the foundation, because no insurance company covers that. So how do you actually check the foundation to make sure that it's safe for that buyer to buy the house?
Absolutely. That
Please
is
don't say role models.
that I have heard of that. that is definitely not what we do. So a lot of the inspectors, as far as the Texas Real Estate Commission and how they govern how we do inspections, and how we inspect the foundation itself, you know, they're pretty relaxed on that, surprisingly. And a home inspector can go out and just basically do a visual inspection. And for me, all of my background is in construction, and I really did not like the sound of that. I wanted something way more definite. I actually use a tool that's called a zip level. A zip level is basically a very expensive measuring device that allows us to actually measure the altimeter of the foundation. So it gives us basically the height of the foundation. So with this tool, we go in and we actually do a measurement of the foundation itself. If there's any areas where there's been structural movement, where the foundation has either lifted or sunken in, if you will, that device will tell us within 1/10 of an inch exactly what those readings are. And then we have a tolerance that is set by the structural engineers in Texas. And if the house is outside that tolerance, then at that point, we're going to want to have a further look. We're going to want a second opinion, either a structural engineer or a foundation repair company, something like that. But along with our visual inspection and those measurements, if they come in good shape, then we really know that that foundation is in good shape. A lot of times, the other part of that is, in our area, a lot of homes have had foundation repair. And so if the house has had repair, this is a nice way for us to verify the success or failure of that repair.
Well, I will tell you from personal experience, I had some foundation work done at one of my houses that I owned, and it made the world a difference. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get to see it after, I think it was 5 years I had it, but I know for those 5 years, it definitely made a difference. So
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's very interesting. So I was just going to ask one other thing really quick, if you don't mind, about the roof being the other main concern is, you know, in North Texas, this is all about insurance claims. It's our number one. So when you're actually inspecting the roof, and I know you said you have construction background, but do you ever involve another roofing company, or is that just something that you have a good feel and understanding for?
Sure. So depending on the layout of the property, that's kind of what's going to determine how the roof is inspected. Of course, if the house is you know, a 2-3-story roof where all of the roofing is very steep, then at that point we will change to an inspection with a ladder on the roof's edge. Of course, you know, there's some roofs that you just can't walk. Otherwise, we do have roofing companies that we do have a nice relationship with, where we know and trust and know that they're just not going to show up at the house and say, my gosh, you just got to have a roof. You know, some of these companies, you know, I've seen people, you know, that have a 6-month-old roof and tell me, well, the roofer came by and said we need a new one. You know, it just not be the case. So, you know, we do have to be very diligent on that and make sure, you know, but as far as the process of the roof inspection, basically, every time that we can, we want to walk the entire roof. We want to make sure, you know, that we don't have hail damage, wind damage, improper installation, things like that. So the roof is definitely a high-priced item, and I know insurance-wise, you know, it's a real important one. And so we try to make sure that our clients don't enter a situation where, you know, they have, you know, pre-existing conditions on the roof covering. So we take that real seriously and make sure that the roofs are in good order.
So just out of curiosity, you were talking about walking the roof. When we're in this very high heat, is it advisable for us to stay off the roof and not actually walk the roof for fear of damaging that roof?
It depends on the roof covering, okay?
Okay.
And also, you know, would depend on You know, as far as for one person to do it, it's not a really big issue. Where
Okay.
you get into that type of issue is where, you know, if you sent, a group of workers up there, you know, 3 or 4 guys, and they're really treading heavy, then yes, you can actually
Okay.
do some damage of that. And
Very
that's
good.
one of the things that really takes the specialized training for us to be able to determine the difference between maybe, you know, just someone's cowboy boot, you know, that may have caused a little ding in the roof versus a legitimate hail damage claim. And
Right.
a lot of times we will see that. I've walked on roofs that have been put up, you know, within a week, and we can see some damage sometimes, and it's just like what you're talking about. It's more caused by the traffic on the roof. It's more caused by, you know, the workers maybe throwing a nail gun across the roof, or throwing a bundle of shingles, things like that. So we really try to watch for that, make sure that if it's construction damage, that's a totally different story, you know, than if we have legitimate hail damage or wind damage. So we definitely we do have to determine that on a daily basis. So.
Well, I know as a realtor, it is vital. You are a very vital part of our business, because whenever we're purchasing a home, whether it's new or pre-owned, we want to have an inspection done to make sure that we have that insurable roof, we have a firm foundation, all of the plumbing, electrical systems, and different other aspects of the home are where we need to be. So
Right.
we utilize your report as a realtor to negotiate repairs with sellers. So
Absolutely.
you are definitely somebody that that we are very close to, and we love working with. So important. And so one more quick question. We talked about the new construction and the pre-owned when you're purchasing and selling. Is it a good idea just maybe every so often for someone who's not planning on buying or selling to have their home inspected?
Absolutely. It's something that a lot of people, if they have some concerns or worries, that we can come out, make sure, that systems are working right. Just to give you for example, a lot of times I've done inspections where the homeowner was actually on site, and they after they get the report, they give me a call, and they would say something like, "I'm so happy that you found that this air conditioning vent wasn't working in my kitchen. I wish I would have known that 5 years ago, because I've been sweating in my kitchen every time I cook. And if I would have had an inspection at that point, I could have been comfortable like your buyers are going to be after this repair is done." And so things like that. We've gone into homes where jetted tubs are not working, and it's as simple as resetting a GFCI plug sometimes.
Oh,
But
wow.
a lot of times you don't know that that's there. I've done that on homes before, and the seller would hear it come on, and they're like, "How did you get my tub to work?" And I was like, "Oh, just hit this reset button and everything's good to go." So that's
Well,
that's
that's
definitely something that people should consider. If they have questions about their home, a lot of times we can find nice ways or easy ways to get things back in order without it being a big expense to the homeowner.
Well,
that's
it's
excellent.
go ahead,
Oh,
Michael.
sorry. That's excellent. So what I'm hearing is that once a house gets to a certain level, is that an inspection wouldn't hurt to have, just for your own well-being, to know what you can upkeep. So that means
Absolutely.
that anybody can contact you, right?
Absolutely.
Realtors or homeowners.
Yeah, and on that point, one thing that some people don't realize, we do have a specialty inspection just for this. The industry standard kind of calls it the 11-month inspection, or the 1-year home warranty inspection. There's, depends on the terminology of who's talking to you about it. But this is for our new construction people. So basically, most builders in the state of Texas are required to give you a 12-month home warranty with the purchase of your new construction. It's kind of just, most all builders do that for their buyers. It's just expected now. But what's really nice is right before that 12-month warranty runs out, it's a really good idea to go ahead and have that new home checked and make sure that there are not items that are going to come up the day after your 12 months runs out. And it could be an AC issue, it could be a water leak issue. I mean, you name it, and we've seen it. And a lot of our new construction people really do enjoy that. What's really nice about it is it gives you a firm document by a licensed inspector that says these items need to be corrected. So as far as the leverage goes with your home builder, it really gets their attention. It's so much better than have it written on a piece of paper. Hey, I'd like you to fix this and this and this. They know if you paid for an inspection, you're really serious about making sure that those last minute repairs before that warranty runs out are completed.
One of the ways that I explain an inspector to some of my clients is you are like a general practitioner. So if I want to go for a physical checkup just to make sure everything's running right, I'm going to go to my family doctor, my GP. Now, if something was wrong, my doctor, my general practitioner, is going to send me to a specialist. So say something was wrong with the air conditioning unit, you would suggest to us to refer out to HVAC tech. Is that correct?
Right. That's a very good analogy, and that's exactly, how it goes with us.
Very good.
We cover a wide variety of systems throughout the house, and we are really well trained in seeing red flags, if you will. Like, oh, this drain is not draining correctly. I had a house that I inspected one time, and when they turned the shower on, the toilet would sit there and burble the whole time that the shower is running. And it was one of those renovations like what I was telling you about, and the home looked amazing, but the toilet sit there and burbled the whole time. And come to find out, all it was, there was just a plumbing pipe that was not in the correct order. They went in, changed a couple of things, reorganized the way the plumbing was done, and everything was in good shape. But that saved them from having that, that issue.
That's amazing.
Well, Dr. Steve, I am very glad to hear all this information. So my question for you is, if one of my realtor friends or even one of my homeowners decide that they need this, how are we getting in touch with you?
You can just look. Of course, we're everywhere with social media. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. My wife is actually our director of business development. So her name is Jenny Henderson, and she is always available. We do have online booking through our website. Message us through Facebook. Of course, you can get us on our cell phones pretty much most of the time. We very seldom turn anything off. So,
Steve, what is the website address for you guys?
It is First Choice Homes Inspection firstchoicehomesinspection.com.
Very good. Very good. And is there a telephone number that is better than the other to try and contact you guys?
Sure. The best number is 325-260-8311.
Very good.
If we have just a couple of more seconds,
sure.
If there's going to be realtors that are watching this, especially,
absolutely,
we do have a really special toolbox for our realtors. And this is something, my wife was a real estate agent for 12 years. So, I kind of got to see how these transactions look from all sides. we have a special tool. It's called an action list publisher. And basically what this does, this comes with every inspection report that we do. It is a separate program, if you will, that allows the real estate agent to quickly and easily create an amendment from our inspection report. It allows them to include photographs. It allows them to include their own narrative if they like. They can choose whether they want a repair or whether they want some money off of the price of the house. What's nice is you can take a report that has 25, 30 deficiencies in it. You can create your amendment in under 5 minutes, and it will reference our report. It just makes that portion.
It makes our lives a lot easier.
And you don't have to cut and paste. You don't have to try, because we know that, once you get the report, now you have to give it to the listing agent, then they have to give it to a contractor. And then by the time all those steps happen, it's really difficult sometimes to get that message. So we have that included with our services, and we have gotten just wonderful reviews from our real estate agents about that tool. And very quickly, we have one other tool. It is basically a price analysis tool. Just to not go too long, but our report goes off to a third party, and they will give us nice ballpark pricing on the repairs that are on the report. It's a 24-hour turnaround on that, and it is free to the agents. So if you're someone that doesn't know how much it costs to replace a water heater or, a kitchen faucet, this is a wonderful tool. A lot of our new agents just, they really, really like that.
Very good. Very good. Well, it has been a pleasure to have you on our show today, Steve. Hope to do business with you again soon. If you have any questions for Steve, you can reach out to him. If you have any questions for Michael, you can reach Michael Copeland. And go ahead with the number, Michael.
It's 972-727-9705.
And I'm Cindy Coggins, and you can reach me at 469-499-7452. I'm here to help you with all your real estate needs. We'll see you next time on C Squared Insights.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.